All right, been a couple of weeks. Thank God TCF patch 1.4.0. Hey, prospectors, do you have some time on your hands right now? I do. Why, you ask? Well, that's because I'm not currently playing the cycle. Because we have some new patch notes hot on the oven, ready to be perused. Nice, hell yeah. And because we didn't have an update last week, these ones will be a bit lengthy as we're striving to strike out a good game balance and iron out all of our remaining issues. As a quick heads up, the maintenance for this update will be a bit longer than usual as well. Remember the infrastructure changes we mentioned in our last notes, ? We're applying all those right now, Pog. But before moving to the main course, let's start this show with an apologetic appetizer. Alliterations are cool. They're also hard to read sometimes. Server issues and compensation. If you've been playing the Cycle Frontier lately, you may have noticed that we've been running into several server issues. While those will be put to rest with this update, we're aware how much trouble they have caused you. I'm in pain. That's why we decided to offer a small compensation to every player out there, Pog. As such, every prospector who has logged into the game since July 1st, that is a month and 8 days ago, will receive the following free after the update. 150k K-marks, 1 Scarab, 1 Advo, 1 Maelstrom, 2 shields, and a helmet. We apologize once more for the inconvenience. Thank you all for your patience and support with that. Out of the way, time to dive into the patch notes proper. I mean, I like free shit. You know what I mean? They could have kept the Scarab, but you know, it is what it is. And if they're going to give me a Maelstrom, they better hand me a slug mod too. Otherwise, they might as well hand me nothing. But you know what? Beggars can't be choosers. So let's move past it. Changes. Improved general fluidity and responsiveness of the heavy melee strike. Pog. Delivering very hard head bonks should be a smoother experience, okay? Change the text box on timer skips to make clear that you can use either K-marks or Aurum, not both. I've had a lot of people basically comment on this when I pick one or the other. If I ever swap the choice, people are like, wait, that's not both? I can choose? And while it was obvious to me, I realized it wasn't obvious to everybody. So this is a good change. Tweaked the looting tables for the different creatures of Fortuna. That'll be interesting to experiment with, okay? Reworked the icons for some weapon attachments so that you should be easier to differentiate from one another. Fingers crossed for 1x optics looking different from magnified optics. At the very least, I will take that. Maybe creature mod looks different from penetration mod. That could be nice versus slug mod. That could all be quite nice. Maybe there's tiny little like icons or like markings in the corner of even basic things like angled foregrip, whether or not it increases or decreases the recoil versus decreases like ADS speed, for example. Little markings. Just give me a little something, you know, so I don't have to cursor over it, which is very painful still. Various improvements to our general UI. Pog. Balancing and economy. We tweaked some crafting requirements. Orbital cannon beacon. Reduced the derelict explosives from 6 to 3, and the faction scares from 200 to 80. Holy moly. For clarity, this opens the dungeon. The orbital cannon beacon opens the dungeon. This is the Osiris late game juice. Laser drill beacon. Faction scripts from 200 to 80. Oil pump beacon, faction scripts from 200 to 80. I think they realized that basically there's not enough missions to continue to bankroll doing this late game stuff. And it's very difficult to grind out jobs only for scripts to be able to farm up enough to do this late game content regularly enough. So they've decreased this quite a bit. I think that's a good change. If you reach this endgame sauce, you should be able to do it with frequency. Increase the faction XP and K-mark rewards of hard jobs by 50%. Poggers. Love to see that. Again, this is bankrolling people and incentivizing them to continue to do quests, quote unquote, after they complete all missions. Because right now, I've have all my missions complete and I don't feel incentivized to do the jobs at all. Not even in the slightest. I don't think I've completed one. I've just been, selling gear and improving hideout stuff. And my money's going down as a result. There's no doubt. Because again, mission farming was the best way to make cash. Reduce the repair costs of most gear. Thank God. Big, 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 big. Repair costs of uncommon 10%, rare 20%, epic 60%, exotic 75%, legendary 85%. That is insane. Genuinely worthwhile to make it out with your item, because I would swap. Let's say I got like an epic low, like super low. I would swap to a 100% durability rare, because I knew I have a better chance of surviving, because like maybe this epic breaks on my way out and then I have no armor and I die because of it. And I know also that the repair cost is going to be through the roof if I actually keep it, right? Like I'm going to have to pay an arm and a leg to get this thing back to useful. So this is big. This actually means that like I actually have a meaningful decision to make, which I like. I like that. Reduce the overall availability of grenades. Interesting. So let's see how. Grenades removed from the shop. They're now available in crafting station for 300k marks, 2 copper wires, 2 hardened materials each. Grenade rarity level changed from common to uncommon. Overall, reduce the amount of grenades found as loot on the surface. Reduced the amount grenades received as mission rewards. I dislike this. I dislike this greatly. This was not the right answer. This wasn't even close to the right answer. Removing or reducing the rarity of grenades, or making them craftables only and not being able to purchase, does not change the problems that were wrong with the grenades in the first place. People will still farm them and use them with great frequency. This does not address the issue. This attempts to bandage the issue. What needs to happen is grenades need to have their damage significantly reduced and have a different function. Utility in a game like this is meaningful and fun and enhances the gameplay. The solution isn't to reduce the utility. The solution needed to be to change the way the utility works and interacts with player health and player armor. And if a grenade were to shred player armor, especially now that it's cheaper to repair, this would have been a very solid solution to pair in conjunction with the reduction of the repair costs. That would have been huge. HE grenades shred armor. They actually make it make sense to have armor in the game, because right now the armor only exists. The numerator of the armor does not matter until it actually breaks. And not one time in my 1,000 hours in this game at this point have I seen an armor go to 0 and actually have no armor in raid. That has never happened. So why do the numerators and denominators even fucking matter? I don't know. I don't know. There's a hidden armor value on each of these, right? That's tied to it being green, blue, purple, red. But like, why even have the numbers if they never go to 0? It doesn't make any sense. None at all. If the grenades dealt damage to the armor in a significant way, cracks a person, then they still need to be intelligently shot and killed, which would only require a few shots because it's an unarmored target. This would have been an infinitely better system and would have made a lot more sense than reducing it, which is not a fun time. People like utility. Utility is part of the game. It's part of the intelligent way to play the game. It feels good, especially in a solo v squad situation, to utilize the utility in an intelligent way. It feels really good. Like when you get a grenade on like multiple people and you're like, okay, I'm in there, right? Now, this again punishes a solo in like a solo v squad. They're moving in a direction that makes it so that instead of having the ability to use things and provide resources to a solo to outplay a squad and have a meaningful fight that is rewarding, they're just removing the likelihood to run into squads and then balancing the game in favor of more people being there. And that's just the wrong way to go about it. That doesn't enhance fun in any way, shape, or form. So I think they're completely ass backwards on this. I'm pretty disappointed by this change. Anyway, what can you do? I'll pass that feedback on to them. Bug fixes. Improve general performance, especially regarding foliage and rendering distance. That's good. I like that. Fix an issue where members of the same squad would drop on different server instances. I haven't seen this in a very long time. but good to know it's being fixed. Fixed an issue where players with very high MMR wouldn't be able to drop as a trio. Weird. Fixed an issue where shotguns fired with the slug attachment wouldn't deal the expected amount of damage. Interesting. You will now be able to claim your cosmetic items even when your stash is full. There's always room for swag. That's good. Fixed an issue that prevented the Crusher Caverns from resetting properly. I experienced this firsthand. Tweaked waterfalls. It was actually a bug that worked out in your favor, because when it didn't reset properly, the mobs would there would not be waves of mobs, but they would also be pre-spawned on the levels so that you could aggro them and kill them from the holes above. So when it's working properly, the dungeon's actually much more difficult than what you saw in our YouTube video. Tweaked waterfalls a bit, so they're actual planned pretty selves. So they can be their actual planned pretty selves. I'm not sure what that means. Research in your private quarters shouldn't take 1 second longer than indicated anymore. Okay. Fix some issues that prevent players from completing the tutorial. Fix small graphical artifacts with the basilisk. Fix several instances of rain pouring through ceilings. That's always good. I see that quite a bit. Fix weird issues with weapon charms. Seem to have a mind of their own. Tweak the maps a bit further. Floating objects, misaligned buttons, inescapable pits, etc. Corrected some pathfinding issues for confused wildlife. Fixed some containers being invisible until approach. No more stealth field generators for boxes. No more stealth field generators for boxes. Interesting. Bullets will now pierce tarps from both sides. Good. Weapon attachments. I didn't realize that tarps were wall bangable. Weapon attachments will now be fully visible from the crafting station. Fixed an issue that prevented equipping a new spray. Comm wheel will stop breaking if too many people are trying to talk at the same time. Equipped weapons won't poke their head out when throwing grenades. The Thrill Seeker is now usable and ready to scout the surface once more. I have no idea what that is or means. Foaming the enemy prospector right as they foam, you should now count as actual progression for related missions. Double KOs never get old. Also don't understand that one. Fix some visual issues with Crusher ranged attacks. Okay. Crusher with heavy melee attack won't send it into outer space anymore. That's good. We've seen that quite a bit. More issues with Marauders teleporting around, dealing damage to prospectors out of their reach. Good. Super Jeff has been nerfed. Thank God. Again, this also probably has to do with the server changes and fixes. Fix visual issue where accepting a new mission would seem to reset progress on existing ones. Fix an audio issue where the sound of crumbling mineral nodes. Oh, that's good. That was an irritating one for sure. Audio issue where natural traps like birds flocking would emit the sound at the wrong location. Should now properly see the outline of your squad mate while on the surface. Fix an issue that would trigger an infinite loading screen when purchasing items. Good. Fix an issue where the ramps of the laser drill would disappear when moving too far. That's massive. Even if people were right up next to it. I mean, we got into a fight the other day. People downstairs were like, hey, there's literally no ramp to get onto this. I guess GG's. And I was like, hey, man, I'm sorry about that. This thing's been mad desyncy lately. I'm hoping to see something in here about the laser drill being just misaligned in general. We'll see. Pressing the escape button should now work in every menu. Fix an annoying issue where the Osiris campaign mission wouldn't grant the orbital laser beacon it's supposed to. Yes, I've gotten that. Using the return station option should now properly update a mission progress. Fix the visual issue that would show average match time as 0. Fixed an issue where backpacks wouldn't be moved to the stash despite the ladder not being full. Yes, that's good. That was really irritating. Like, all you could do is swap to a white backpack and let it ride. Prospectors on the character selection screen after the tutorial shouldn't appear as foamed anymore. Fixed an issue where insured items wouldn't appear properly in private quarters after being foamed. Fixed an issue that prevented players from interacting with dead drops. Changed a couple of spawn points from drop pads. Shouldn't start your exploration session next to angry locals. Now that's good. Fixed an issue that would also apply a weapon coding when trying to equip a weapon charm. Good. I think we saw some like intentionally bugged stuff on that front. The grid visible around the evac ship is now gone. Various writing changes and localization fixes. MISC. Starting the game in admin mode will create an error. Please make sure you're not doing that. Biker Queen is now called the Monarch. All hail the new paragon of badassery. Okay. There it is. Economy changes. Let's see what people are saying real quick. I'm curious what your guys' favorite parts are, what you're not enjoying, what you think you would have liked to see during this. Let me know in the comments below. Economy changes, server infrastructure for gear, Super Jeff, grenade nerf. It's okay. It's not really a grenade nerf, though. It's just less grenades. Yeah, I think people are a bit cooked on this one. Yeah, I don't see this being the meaningful change to grenades that we needed to. So we get the maelstrom, but oh, misspelled. Okay, cheeky. Interesting. Yeah, unfortunately, you know, a few things. No mention of buckets, no mention of cheaters. Both of these, I think, are the number 1 and 2 reason why people are not playing the game currently. And both were not discussed here. I'm not saying that they have to every single patch. Those are definitely the main reasons why player count is at an all-time low. And to have neither mentioned is a little disappointing, I'll be honest. Though they have talked it kind of to death in the past. Hopefully things are still being worked on and improved on those fronts, and I'm sure they are. So you can definitely expect me back on Cycle on Thursday, live on the channel. We'll check this patch out, see what some of the changes are like in person. So definitely swing through twitch.tv/markstrom. I'll see you there.